The Knicks easily have the best roster coming out of the All-Star break, and even though they are dealing with injuries for OG and Julius, they're still trying to make a deep playoff run when they come back. Jalen Brunson is an all-star and is easily one of the best leaders in the game. All they need to become a real threat is a few more wins, and come playoff time, people will finally take them seriously. So Brunson has been on an absolute Brunson burner, right? And is the league's 7th best scorer as of right now, averaging 28, 4, and 7 a game, leading the Knicks to a 4th seed in the East. His ability to create shots off the dribble and weave around defense reminds me of Chris Paul when he was in LA. He shoots the 3-ball at a high clip and just feels like he has a tight grip on every game that he's in. His pick and roll game is one of the most efficient in the league, averaging 9 field goals attempted on pick and rolls a game this year. And he makes 4 shots off of these possessions every single game. That's second best in the league, only behind his former Maverick teammate Luka Doncic. He's also second in the league in pick and rolls per game, only behind Trae Young. This is good news because we have to remember that the games slow down immensely in the playoffs. Refs swallow their whistles, and pick and rolls are going to be deadly with the ball in Brunson's hand. He's got lob threats all over the place, and New York's bigs are definitely apt to catch lobs. I promise you that. Honestly, I get that I'm a Clippers fan, but this roster really reminds me of that 2015 Clippers team, bruh. Like, they're two teams that have some playoff success. Great in regular season. We'll see how they go in the playoffs. We got a point guard, a shooter, a great power forward, and a lanky center. But the major difference between those two teams is Matt Barnes to OG Anunoby. It's like night and day. Matt Barnes, fine. OG is a massive upgrade to the 3 over Matt Barnes, okay? OG is one of the best 3-and-D defenders in the game right now. And they got a steal from Toronto when they picked him up. He makes them so much bigger, and the fact that he can stretch the floor makes him a threat all over the court. He's one of the reasons why I feel so confident in New York going into this year's playoffs, because you have to potentially go up against guys like Tatum, Mitchell, Giannis, and you're gonna need a guy like that. Having him as a 3rd to 4th option on offense is also great for the playoffs, because other 3-and-D guys like Kawhi, PG, and like KD have to do it the whole series on both sides of the floor. Having Anunoby to lock up the other team's best player for a series is a huge advantage. Like, he's helped them win some major games this year, and as of right now, they're only a game and a half behind the struggling Bucks for the 3rd seed. He makes them better, plain and simple. With a lineup of Brunson, DiVincenzo, OG, Randall, and Hartenstein, they rank 2nd in the NBA in points scoring while that lineup is on the floor, minimum of 10 games played. And a funny stat for y'all, this is such Knicks culture, bruh. They are the 3rd best team at recovering loose balls. They are the 5th at charges drawn. They're 3rd overall in box outs per game and lead the league in offensive box outs per game. That is definitely a Thibodeau-led team. That's crazy. Everything makes sense, right? So in terms of their playoff route, hear me out, okay? If they can get the 3rd seed, the route to the conference finals seems like a cakewalk. In a 3-6 matchup, you play Indiana. All day, W, okay? Next round, maybe Milwaukee, I think. That could go 6 to 7 games, and I think if that 7 game is played at MSG, it's wraps. Like, if the Knicks have a higher seed than the Bucks in that series, I think that's wraps. That leaves the Celtics, and I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that the Knicks are just gonna outright beat the Celtics, or that the Knicks can like squeak through somehow. But the Celtics are also not like the most dominant team I've ever seen. The Celtics are known to be shut down in the playoffs. I mean, how many finals appearances do they have in like the past 10 years? They've been good for like that long, okay? They've gone to the finals once. So there's always a bigger fish. I don't know if the Knicks are that bigger fish this year, but the Knicks have a shot. I'm sitting here telling you the Knicks have a shot at getting to the finals. Now, the Knicks have depth. They easily run 9 deep if healthy. The Celtics could go 7, 8 deep, but those last 2 guys are Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard. So, Celtics fans, holler at me if I don't know something, okay? Talk to me if you know something I don't, okay? I'm not saying the Knicks are wiping out the Celtics, but I'm not saying the Celtics are wiping out the Knicks. So, I mean, straight up conference finals, that's how it should be, okay? Going to conference finals is a hard thing to do. I think the Knicks can absolutely make it to the conference finals. Like, it's not that far-fetched for me to say that. My verdict is that the Knicks play a great brand of basketball. They're unselfish, they have a good coach, they have great synergy, and they play with high energy, okay? I really think the combination of all their players will help them get to a conference finals, but they have to be fueled by Brunson and Randall. If those guys are averaging anything near what they're averaging right now, they'll be fine. Not to mention that if their bench steps it up a notch, they're going to be so much better than right now. I don't think there's anyone like this team in the league. Their depth is really going to be key for them. And that's exactly why they made those moves at the trade deadline, to get guys and to get pieces so they can make that deep playoff run ASAP. RJ was feeling too out of place, quickly wasn't getting the minutes he deserved. You know, the additions of Bojan and Alec Burks as two 40% shooters to come off the bench was amazing. All we got to do is say a prayer for health, and I'm very good at that as a Clippers fan. So Knicks fans, I got you. And at that point, we'll be back to having the best playoffs we'll ever see at MSG. Plain and simple.